From South Dakota Public Broadcasting, this is Innovation on Dakota Midday for Friday, December 3rd, 2010. I'm Kara Hetland, and today on the program we'll hear about new research into a vaccine for human obesity. Roche Biotech is based in Garrettson, South Dakota, with partnerships with the University of Iowa and companies in California, Colorado, and Iowa. But first, a conversation about the new technology high school in Sioux Falls. Dr. Diana Messick and 3 students join me to discuss the first semester at the new school. We'll talk about projects the students are working on and the unique model being used at the new technology high school. That's all ahead on Innovation. Plus, you'll have an opportunity to call in your questions throughout the next hour. First, this news. From South Dakota Public Broadcasting, you're listening to Innovation on Dakota Midday. I'm Kara Hetland, and thanks for joining us. We're broadcasting live from the Technology Business Center in Sioux Falls. And our first topic of conversation is the new technology high school. Dr. Diana Messick is the principal, and she is here with 3 students, Max Rysdon, Elana Hicks, and Wesley Rasmusson. So thank you all for being on Innovation today. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So let's start first, and it's called New Technology High School for new technology. I figured this out after a while of reading the documents today. So it's not new as in brand new, even though it is, but it's new technology. Correct? So it will always be called the New Technology High.
Yes.
Okay. Just had to clear that up because new as in new, but you are new. You opened in August of 2010. And explain to me a little bit about the process, because right now there are only freshman students there.
True. Each year we'll be adding another group of about 110 freshmen until we're over 400. So each class will be freshmen each year. And the new technology, we're part of a network, the New Technology Network, because there are 62 high schools that are in the network currently across the country. They're in California, New York, Indiana, Michigan. So we're part of a large network of schools like ourselves, project-based learning high schools.
And explain what that is, project-based learning high schools.
Project-based learning is a different way of instructing students. It's a model where students, the teachers take the state standards, and then they build projects or problems for the students to solve, and those are either simulated or they are real-world, have a real-world connection.
Okay, and projects like, give me an example, or we'll have the students give some examples. So, Max, give me an example of a project that you're working on for the end of the semester.
Well, right now we're going to be working on the Odyssey theme park project. And what we did is we read the Odyssey by Homer, and then we're going to create a theme park sort of based on the Odyssey. We're going to probably be creating some 3D models. And we've been reading the Odyssey up until now, but in the next week or so, we're going to be creating the final product.
So no semester tests, all project-based finals. Is that correct?
Yes, they still take the tests, the 10th grade state writing test and the Dakota Step that all 11th graders take. The difference is that they take assessments while they're in the projects, and semester wouldn't necessarily be the end of a project, so they don't work on that specifically at New Tech. They still take tests and assessments on a regular basis, but it's different. They're also assessed in their presentation of learning. So at the end of each project, they have a presentation of learning where they present what they've learned. Those presentations are in groups, and they all work in groups of 4. And then they give those presentations to a panel of experts. So that could be people from the community. It might be parent volunteers. When they did the one with nonprofits, people from the nonprofit organization world came in and gave them feedback on their projects. So rather than just getting a grade, they have to complete a presentation of learning to a panel of experts.
So there are 109 students?
There's 103 right now.
103 right now. And you are based here on the Southeast Tech campus, correct?
Yes, in what the University Center. Mm-hmm. University Center is building up north, so as they move into their new center, we're taking over that space.
And you're part of the Sioux Falls School District, and
Absolutely.
and only the Sioux Falls. It's not surrounding students, or is there open enrollment?
No, there is not open enrollment. The students that are eligible are students who are currently in the 8th grade at one of the 5 middle schools.
Okay. And you are currently meeting with parents and holding information meetings as
Yes,
well,
we had a meeting at Memorial Middle School last evening. We'll be meeting with parents of all the middle schools. There's 3 meetings next week, Axtell Park on Monday, and Tuesday, I believe, is Edison. Thursday is Whittier, and then on the 14th, it's Patrick Henry. And then on the 20th, we have one more meeting at IPC in case parents need to come back and ask additional questions. And then in January, we start going to the students in their classes in the 8th grade to give them some more information, and we take our students so that they can have a student-to-student, peer-to-peer conversation and ask them questions.
And what kind of interest was there last year for this new class at the new tech?
When we began the lottery, there were 167 students who applied to come to New Tech.
Okay, and you have to start as a freshman and go through. You can't jump in mid-semester?
Yes, and the reason that we do that is that's part of what the New Tech Network suggests, is that the culture is very different. They need to learn to work as groups. They're empowered as students to be very involved, and so they really need to start together and move through the program together and develop those skills. So the first semester they've been learning how to cooperate in a group, how to handle conflicts, and then how to get their work done. They each write a group contract when they're doing their projects that says specific things like warnings if somebody's not doing their work.
Well, let's talk to the students. First, I want to know why you chose to go to New Tech. Who wants to go first? Elana?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think it was really because it sounded different than what we were used to, and personally I wasn't really looking forward to high school, but then we heard about this and it just sounded like a really good thing to do, and it really is. And I think the main thing for me was actually the college credits. They want us to take some college classes, so we'll hopefully get at least 6 college credits before we actually go to college, which is pretty good actually.
Okay. And Wesley, how about you? Why did you choose New Tech?
I've been a guy who's not really familiar with the traditional learning style my whole life. Really something where I'd been frustrated with school my whole life, something that jumped out at me. Probably a bigger opportunity from then what I had been before that. Again, what Elana said with the college classes, getting college credits, working in, getting yourself out into the community, which is something I've really took an opportunity to do, is putting myself out there to have business connections in high school. I think it's a big thing to do.
Okay. And you, Max?
Well, I came to New Tech because I was looking at Lincoln, and they were too far away from us, and we would open enroll there because we live near Washington. And then we were looking at Washington, and I didn't really have any friends that went there. And then we saw New Tech, and it looked like just this brand new idea that could really change my future and how I went through college. And so I thought that it would be a good idea, and my mom said I could always back out at semester, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
You're in for the long haul, huh?
Yeah.
So give me an example of, I'm assuming class sizes are small with only 100 students in your class? Is that, or?
Actually, they're divided into 2 groups.
Oh, wow.
There's about 52 in each group, but they each have 2 teachers. And all the classes are combined, so speech and English are integrated. Spanish and world geography are integrated, and science and algebra are integrated. So there's 2 teachers in the classroom, and each of the students, there are 50-some computers, so each student works on a computer. They use textbooks. Everything is online and driven online. They use all kinds of software programs to develop their projects.
So walk me through a day.
Okay, well, I'll start. We get to school, and then I arrive for my first block at Espangio, and there normally we'll turn on our laptops to get logged into Echo and all of our other programs that we'll be using for the day. And then normally they'll have some sort of Spanish workshop, which is they'll break us apart from the rest of the class, or some of us, or all of us from the rest of the class, and we'll sort of learn Spanish for that time. And they'll give us a packet, and we'll get our assignment, and we'll do that assignment. Normally we might have time to finish the assignment in class, but more likely we'll have to finish it at home. Either way, the teacher, Miss Ross, is still using technology in the smartboard, and we really like the workshops because it's just a different thing. They're not just standing up and lecturing us the whole hour, 2 hours that we're in that class. Sorry.
Okay. And Wesley, you said that you weren't a traditional learner. How is this different? How is this different for you?
Well, I was kind of explaining to some people in a meeting yesterday. Traditional education is more you learn it and you learn it and you learn it, and then you move on to the next topic. But at New Tech High, there's stops along the way where you can reach out and connect for more. So if you were doing something that connected to something, you can be doing that and making 3 more connections from that. It's just never ending is the way I see it, because there's always going to be another person out in the business community, or there's always going to be another person in China waiting to talk to you. It's totally indifferent from anything I've ever seen.
Walk me through a math class. How would a math class at New Tech be different?
Well, we have science and math together, and we have workshops. I'm in Algebra 2, so we actually are doing it online. And then the Algebra 1 students, they break off into a workshop. They usually split the class in half, and half go to science, half go to math. And I'm not sure how the math workshops, Max?
They're just normal math workshop. It might be what you get in a traditional high school, but then again, there's just something different than you can feel. Like I don't really know how to explain it. It's just different than what you would get at a normal high school.
Yeah, like our math teacher, Mr. Kolb, he's a lot more reaching out to students, whether than in a traditional high school, if you don't get it, oh, too bad, we're moving on. Whether it's the teachers are more determined here, if you're not going to get it, you're going to get it. You're not going to move on without getting it. So it's a lot different from, it picks up on kids being left behind, so there's not nearly as many having that problem.
Are there math tests? Or what kind of projects would you do in math?
Math and science is the one that's probably hardest to do the projects on, but they're really good in creating. Because right now we're doing chemistry of cooking. So they give 4 different recipes, gave a recipe to each group, and for instance, my group got honeycomb candy. So we have to look at the ingredients, break down, the different chemistry, the crystallization and the sugars, and break it down and put it all into one thing. So by the end, we should be able to tell, after we made the honeycomb candy, we can go back and say, here's the science and here's the math, because this is what we did.
I'm going to open up the phone lines for questions. So if listeners have a question, you can give us a call at 800-524-3604, 800-524-3604, or you can send an email question to midday@sdpb.org. Do you spend your entire day sitting in front of a computer screen?
That's most likely how we would spend a normal class period or a class day. Sometimes during the workshops we'll get off the computer and go learn about math or science or whatever it happens to be, but a lot of the time we'll be doing our work electronically, and so it's actually cutting down on paper a lot. So.
And there is a lot more opportunity outside. I mean, sometimes during the day we will go out, like what we're doing right now, and get involved with the business community, see what's going on. We've been to Chamber of Commerce meetings, we've been to the outdoor campus, we've been to a couple other places that I'm not remembering, but we've been probably more field trips than probably a lot more field trips than a traditional school would experience.
Do you get to take your laptops home with you, or do they stay at school?
The school laptops stay there, but students will sometimes bring their own laptops if they have like certain programs on them, and yeah, those are.
That actually brings up a really good collaborative tool that we have, and it's Echo. It's the New Tech Network, and that it's an internet program, and you can launch it from home or get it from the school, and it has all of your assignments that are ready for you to download and all of your resources that you can use, and it'll tell you your grades, and it's just it's a multi-purpose application that'll help schools move a lot easier.
So you can go, you can check it from anywhere.
Yep, I can check my grades, download assignments, look at what the assignments are, anything.
It contains the portfolio of all of their work. So this, when they first go into the classroom, the teachers have an agenda for the day. They have the resources. They have the tasks that they're going to do. Sometimes there is a prompt that starts them that they have to journal. And then all of their resources are right there in Echo electronically. They also have email. They can email their group members. And they're all in a group in each of those 3 combined classes. But they're not in the same group. They'll have a different group in different projects. So they're not always with the same 4 students or 3 students.
Would this model of learning work in a traditional high school, do you think?
It really depends on the student, in my opinion. I mean, I believe there's a billion ways to learn, and no kid is the same exact when it comes to learning. There's definitely a lot of kids out there who are going to have talent for this and, should be in a school like this. And there's some who enjoy sitting and listening to a teacher speak. It's totally different whether the student is going to get it or not. I don't really think of new tech fitting a school. I think it as it fitting a student. And when you fit all the students coming together, that's when it forms a school.
How do you know as a parent if your child needs this?
We were sort of expecting Dr. Messick to answer.
Thank you, Max. Actually,
it.
Parents have some of the students that came to New Tech, their parents made them come there, and they didn't want to be there to begin with, but then once they were there for a few weeks, they really liked it. And then some of the students really wanted to come there. So I think one of the reactions that we get from parents are they wish that high school would have been like that when they were in school, because it's very engaging. It's really mirrors real life. They have the ability to fire people in their groups. They have a specific process, but it's all about communicating, collaborating, work ethics. So all the students are graded on content, plus they are also graded on their work ethic, how they collaborate, written communication, oral communication, technology literacy, and critical thinking on every project. So those are called our learning outcomes. So they are not just graded on content, they're graded on all of those, because what businesses tell us is those are the skills that are 21st century skills that you need when you go to work. And this model was all developed by a group in Napa, California of business people that went to the school district and said they needed different kinds of skills in the people that they were employing. And that's where it all started.
How is this kind of learning in high school going to transition into the college-type lecture learning that you experience?
One of the things that we're learning is that colleges are changing. And we've had conversations with colleges that are changing that are really looking at how to attract students who have, like New Tech students. And I think that they are changing. The students that we talked to when we were in California, I asked that question, and they said they do very well in college classes, even if they're traditional, because New Tech students are very grounded in research. They know how to research. They know how to write. They have oral presentation skills. So they have all those. They come to the college classes with those skills.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do after college? What are your dreams, Wesley?
I'm already kind of working into that right now, actually.
You're talking like you are.
I just, over the past, 9 years I've been going to school, I've been obsessed with truly how kids learn. And I mean, New Tech is a really good way of expressing it, but I understand it's not how all kids are going to be learning it. So I'm developing something, it's coming along nice, not great, but I'd like to start a company helping kids learn in every way possible through the interests that they love. So instead of just sitting there and doing math, they can be converting it into musical notes, and they can be listening to it on the piano. So in theory, they could be doing that all the time, and they can be connecting with students from Boston, Massachusetts to Napa, California, because they share the same interests, and they can be having that same passion and sharing their strengths and their weaknesses and helping each other out in the long run. So that's just a basic idea of what I'm obsessed with and what I'd love to do in the future.
Elana?
I'm vice president of that. If that, other than that, I think I'd really like to go into art history and working at a museum. I like art.
Okay.
Well, my family owns the Sioux Steel downtown, and it's been going for a few generations now, and so I hope to go into that line of business with my parents.
Okay. Now, one of the requirements to graduate is to have an internship. And what kind, and you have a few years to get them lined up, but what kinds of internships are out there for high school aged students?
Well, that's what we're working on developing, and we have had some of the students have been talking with people at the Chamber of Commerce, and we're trying to connect with businesses, because the students are very interested in doing those kinds of things. When we've visited schools, we watched kids who were in doing apprenticeships in engineering, some that were in marketing, and they would just go spend time with those people. But they would first do some small visits to those places. When I talked to some of the kids, they would go and visit. Like one student wanted to be a graphic artist, and when he actually spent the day with a graphic artist, then he didn't want to do that anymore because he didn't really understand what the job entailed. So that's really what we want to do, is expose the students to what are you interested in, what would you like to investigate more, and then how can we help you make that happen.
And how about extracurricular activities? Are any of you involved in them? I understand you have to go back to your neighborhood high school, correct, to participate in things like sports and band and music?
Yeah, well, we sort of have some things going in school. Like today was club day, and during advisory period we were going to go and meet with our clubs and decide what we were going to do and maybe future plan. But yes, we do have to go back to our traditional high school if we wish to participate in things like sports or music.
And what kind of clubs are you talking about?
Well, there's the Dinner and a Movie Club, which I believe they cook food and watch and criticize movies. And the Digital Media Club, and that's what I'm in, and we produce videos and maybe a newspaper and school yearbooks. There's, I know, the Gaming Club, started by some people, and they just sort of, I believe, last club day they brought in a game console and played it through a projector so everybody could see it, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, we have another club is the Fine Arts Club, and they are into more artsy things. Talent, yeah.
They're going to be putting on a talent show, and then the sports club, they arranged a basketball tournament down at the YMCA, and we took all the kids down there.
Okay. Elana, what kind of clubs are you involved in?
I'm in the Dinner and Movie Club, and that's pretty cool. We don't make food, but we do watch movies, and we do criticize them, quite vocally, actually.
And Wesley?
I consider myself to be an athlete. I mean, I'm not a great one. But I'm in the Sporting Goods Club here, and I go back to Lincoln High School and I run cross-country for Lincoln High School. So I'll probably run track and field in the spring, too. So.
And how does that work for you?
We're bussed out and back to our traditional high schools, or the ones we're supposed to be going to every day. So the bus will pick us up at 7:05, get us out here by about 7:20, and then school starts at 7:40. And then the reason we start school so early is so we can get out early enough to get back to the high schools. So we'll get out about 2:40, and then we'll go back on the bus, and it takes us to Lincoln, and then we get off and go from there.
And how would it work if somebody is involved in band or chorus when those are during the school day?
Then they really can't participate in new tech. Effectively, they'll have to make that choice, either not to participate in music. That's the one area that we just can't seem to overcome that, because they do meet during the day.
But if they wanted to be in marching band, that meets either before school, earlier, or later.
But they still
can't-
practice during the day in regular bands. So we were trying to figure out ways to work that out, but it just doesn't work for the kids.
Okay. And how important, though, is music education in the overall? I mean, we hear a lot of reports that is key. The fine arts part is key to expanding knowledge and more successful kids. You're dying to answer that question.
Yeah, that's another thing I was kind of talking about with my career and stuff. I think diversity in learning is the most important thing, yeah, for sure. I mean, why can't kids be learning through music? Why can't they be getting just as much music as math? It makes sense because they love to do it. And if they love to do it, they're going to be more driven to do it, and they'll learn more. I mean, that's what New Tech offers, some of it. I mean, we do, in the future, we probably will offer college music classes. I mean, I think it's ridiculous that, schools are killing creativity in that way. That was a quote, Ken Robinson. He wrote The Element. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but he kind of gets it. He's saying schools are killing creativity because they're not letting students expand to programs like music and arts and things like that.
And Elana, is there an opportunity for you to take art classes? Do you consider yourself an artist or more?
No, my stick figures are quite hideous, actually. I like learning about the history of art and everything, and I like research, so I do a lot of that on my own. But even just going to different museums and like the Washington Pavilion, looking at that really is a great learning experience.
And how about online classes? Is there an opportunity for students to take more advanced classes online? I know there's the AP program.
Right now, the students that are in Algebra 2, they're taking those classes online, and so they have an opportunity to do that.
And is that during the day?
Yes, instead of going to the math workshop, we do the online course.
And how does that work?
It's fun. I mean, it's a great way of learning. It walks you through what you're trying to learn, and then it has a quiz over that content, and there are different units, so it takes less time than a class.
Is there a teacher available online as you take the class, or just at New Tech?
Mr. Kolb is always there to help you, so it's nice.
Okay. And so you have four core classes, correct? Six core classes throughout the day. And your advice to an 8th grader who's thinking about applying is what?
Try it. Make the leap. If you don't like it, you can always back out, but I think it's definitely worth a shot.
I'd just tell them to think of one thing, is your future and how you plan to progress it. And, high schools, yes, you can maybe get a little more out there, but New Tech High, it'll come to you, I guarantee it. I mean, you'll have people in and out the door all day. You'll be taking college classes, by sophomore year almost. Yeah, just think about your future and how you like to progress it. And if you have big plans, I'd try New Tech.
If you really were wondering, we're here at a radio station right now. I mean, this is an opportunity that we would not have gotten at a traditional high school. These kind of opportunities, they don't happen once a year or never. They happen. And, I mean, if you came to New Tech, you could end up being one of the people that sits in this radio room sometime.
It's really not a station. It's a
Oh,
conference.
okay. I'm
no,
sorry.
It's a portable station. No.
You can be in this portable radio station.
But it's new technology that we're using here.
Exactly.
It's called Voice over IP, and so we're broadcasting using the Internet, which is a new kind of technology. So I'm wondering then what kind of, other than being with a laptop all day and doing your assignments and stuff online, what other kind of new technology is happening at New Tech High?
Well, we have the Adobe software, and that's amazing because you can do so many things with Photoshop and InDesign and Fireworks. And then we can also, I don't think we have it working yet, but we have Dragon Naturally Speaking. And Also, Mr. Townsend showed us a tool called Prezi, and that is some sort of presentation tool that sort of zooms around this little blank screen and goes to your different pictures. Also, we have also the Microsoft standard programs, Word 2003 and all the other things, but this has a different atmosphere, and I can do a lot more than I could in middle school, and probably more than I could do in a regular high school with the programs we have.
So it's your opportunity to be creative.
Yes.
In all areas of learning.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add for parents of 8th graders who are looking at options?
Well, I hope that they'll really give it some consideration. It's really exciting when you have an opportunity to talk to the students. It's amazing what they've been able to accomplish in actually less than just one semester. You really are inspired by watching how creative they can be if you don't restrict what they're doing. And one of the things that our science teacher said is that she presents the problem or the project, and then the kids just take off with it. And so they really do that. They just expand so much on the initial issue, and the depth of what they're learning is so broad, and it's really amazing to watch how much they're really learning through the projects, because they go out and seek the information and they research the information, and they don't have the answer in a textbook. They have to go find it. They have to look for it. They have to search for it.
All right. I want to thank all of you for being on the program today. And when we come back, we'll talk about a new vaccine for human obesity. You're listening to Innovation on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.